These here are some old honey mushrooms. Armillaria melia. That's probably not the correct pronunciation. Honey mushrooms, or stumpers they're called. But you can see, hopefully, that they have a white spore print. You can see the top of this is covered in white spores. They have a poisonous look-alike as well, the Gallerina, but it has a brown spore print. So as long as they have a white spore print, and you are familiar with at least what a honey mushroom is, you should be fairly safe. I would still make sure of what it is before I eat it though. Those are too far gone. The honeys are best picked when they're in the button stage, before the gills are visible, and before you can get a spore print. And that's what makes them dangerous, because they grow in big clusters like that, and people get anxious because they find so many, and they just start picking them without paying close attention, and you can accidentally gather the wrong mushroom, the Gallerina, which can grow right in with them, and one Gallerina will kill you dead. So you got to be careful. And if you eat the Gallerina and you find out you've been poisoned and you go to the hospital, they're probably not going to do much for you. They'll try to do stuff, but the stuff they do will be likely to kill you or make you wish you were dead. And there really is no cure for the toxins in Gallerina or Amanita mushrooms. There are cures that are on the table that seem to have positive effects, but it's not 100%. I mean, if you eat a Gallerina or Amanita, your odds are pretty slim for survival. And if you do survive, it'll probably be minus an organ or two. Your liver or kidneys or something will likely be shot. I'm getting into the oaks now though. We got a few big oak ridges here. I'm gonna go ahead and hike around. This loops around for about 4 miles and see what I can find. I've already found quite a bit and I haven't even really started yet. Well, I'm kind of kicking myself. This has been a good fall for honey mushrooms. I'm finding them around a lot of these oaks, but they're all just about a week too far gone. A week or two. Here's a huge mess of them. And they're easy to identify. I mean, you look and you can see the white spores on the tops of the mushrooms that are underneath. And when they're young, there will be a couple that are already bloomed out and casting off spores, but there will be a lot of buttons underneath that you can pick. And those buttons are good eating. You just take them, and the traditional way to cook them is to boil them for about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, and then you just cook them however you want. You can fry them, you can do whatever, but you do need to boil them according to all the old world sources I know, and that gets rid of any toxin or whatever's in them. They're not really a toxic mushroom, but if you don't boil them, I guess they can give you a stomach ache or something. Nothing too severe, but it's always good to follow the ways of those that came before you. when it comes to things like that. A few of the people I've talked to they either have relatives that came from Europe, or they are straight over from Europe, and they always boil theirs. So that's what I do, and they're a real good eating mushroom. And if you get those buttons and you boil them for 15 minutes, they're still really nice and firm. And they really are a good edible. And like I said, I'm kind of kicking myself because this has been a really good year for them, and I was busy, busy with life, and all my free time I was spending learning how to do the fire bow and learning to become familiar with some of these other plants and trees that I got interested in. Just kind of let the honeys go right on by. But I've found hundreds of them already just in the little 1-mile walk I've taken so far. If I'd have been out here a week or two ago, I could have had all I needed for the whole season. Another fork in the road. Crossroads. But there's some chicken of the woods. Looks like it's a little long in the tooth. There's some more. That's definitely long in the tooth. It's turned all grainy. A couple old oaks over here. I'm gonna go check them. Oh, a big old burl on this young cherry, look at that. I hear guys use those for something. Making bowls or making knives or something. I'm not sure. Kind of interesting the way this old ash tree broke. I think this is an old ash. I think this came off of that tree, and that's an ash. Look at that. All the way down. I bet that could be used for something. I can't really think of anything offhand. It's kind of neat. All these ash trees have croaked Now they're all falling down. It's actually making it hard to get through the woods in places. Well, here's a nice big old cottonwood. Ever since I started looking for these to use them, I couldn't find any big cottonwoods. I knew they were around. Just gotta look for them. This is a big one. Looks like two that grew together. It's got some really nice thick bark on it. I'm gonna see about getting some of this and using it for a bearing block for the bow drill.